Hi, it's February 24th, 2022. I woke up this morning to the news that Russia, they said, had invaded Ukraine. Later in the day, looking more into that, it looks more like they just struck at some kind of military target type stuff. So that happened. And the financial markets this morning were Dow was down big, cryptos were down big, and gold was up big. It was up $50 when I looked this morning. But then later in the day, the markets just kind of shrugged off the whole Russia deal and back to business as usual. It's funny because it's so easy to just snap back into, oh, it's just another day, it's just another Tuesday, whatever. We're back in our routine, nothing happened. When this morning it felt like this is it, like big things are finally happening. But some things are happening. There are truckers traveling from all over the country, it looks like, to DC right now. They want freedom. So they seem to think that's where they need to go. I feel like it could be an unnecessary risk. Because when they're out on the open road, they're going to be vulnerable to attack from the air. And governments, when they're losing their power, become more and more gruesome, become more and more evil, whatever word you want to use. The British, I can't remember the name of it, but I'll see if I can post a link. When the British were being rejected from India, the British forces surrounded unarmed, peaceful protesters. They opened fire on them and they killed them. It was hundreds of people. This was a big incident. And I'll post a link to that story if you're not aware of that. And I wish I could remember the name of it right now, but I can't. And it was just a sad thing to see, you know. And I look at this convoy. You know, there's one convoy in particular, I guess the main one, it seems like, started in California a couple days ago, and they've been making their way across Arizona today. This convoy, you know, every overpass, it's like there's people cheering them on. And I mean, there's hundreds of vehicles in this thing. And could well pick up more as they cross the country, you know. People living in the middle of the country maybe didn't want to go out to California to meet them there and start the convoy, but maybe they'll meet them halfway and go the rest of the way or whatever. You know, it's cool to see so many people standing up for freedom. I have to tip my hats to them for that. And everyone, the people on the bridge who come out to cheer them on, the guys driving. It's cool to see. There's a lot of good vibes. There's a lot of good energy with this group. But I'm concerned for their safety. gathering together and giving the government an opportunity to do what I believe they wanted to do on January 6th, but that they failed to do, which is to attack these guys. I think on January 6th they wanted to try to escalate things, to provoke things, to justify a mass slaughter of these people, because they want control, and the kinds of people who will go to these protests and are in these convoys, these are the kind of people who stand in their way. And it gives them an opportunity to do damage that they cannot do if people are at home protecting their own turf in their own communities, where people are decentralized, where they know the territory, where they're spread out, where there's bystanders and all kinds of people and who knows who's who, versus you got hundreds of trucks and other vehicles in a convoy in the middle of the Great Plains with no other fucking cars or people in sight. So I've expressed this to some people who are in the freedom movement. I don't know if I've talked to anyone specifically who's in the convoy, although I believe I've been around some of those people. I had a couple really good conversations yesterday. Maybe they'll view this video. I gave a couple of my books away. It's interesting that it seemed to me like it's very, very Christian. It's very, very, like, pro-Trump, far right, for the most part, it seems. Which is sad to me in a way, because to me, they're calling it the People's Convoy, and it's like, how many people oppose this stuff that aren't far right, that are, people who listen to Jimmy Dore on the left, or libertarians, all of whom support civil liberties and support freedom, at least to the extent that mandates and things be removed. So it's sad in a way that it's just this one group, it seems, primarily represented there. Although I will say there aren't like a lot of Trump flags. There's a handful, but there's mostly just U.S. flags and kind of apolitical type stuff, like generic statements about freedom and we the people and things like that. So we'll see. It is a moving thing to see, though. I feel bad for a lot of the people in this country who live out in the country, and they're having to suffer from this heavy-handed government. And it's funny because, in a lot of ways, I feel like these guys are ignorant in certain ways. They're ignorant of what stuff's like in the city. They're ignorant of what stuff's like in the culture that opposes them. It's, they're ignorant about a lot of technological stuff, as far as the older people. And, but they're good people, man. They're sweet in a way. They're innocent. I don't want to see innocent people get hurt. And I know they care about freedom. But the answer to our problems isn't going there, by my estimation. See, these guys are going to lose their power. That's guaranteed. Because the US dollar is going to collapse. And that's the base of their power. So, all you're doing now by going there, while they still have power, you're subjecting yourself to personal risks, and by doing so, you're subjecting those who care about you to risks. You are giving them someone to blame things on. You're giving them someone to point the finger at, to say, look, prices are going up because of the truckers, because they're not working, they're protesting. All this bullshit. And it's like, yeah, you probably are contributing to that shit. Even though that's going to happen anyway, why contribute to it? Why make things worse for our society than they already are? Because you are serving society. You are helping society. And I appreciate your efforts, as I'm sure many do, and everyone should. So it sucks that you're not doing what you normally do, which is deliver products and food and everything else people need around the country, because you feel like you need to do this. The Marxists, who really are the intellectuals amongst the establishment, cannot refute my points. They cannot rebut my points. There's nothing they can do except attempt to ignore the reality that I present. But that reality will materialize. The population that right now is neutral or going along and getting along or whatever, not inspired. Well, once these guys run out of food, they will become inspired and they will demand accountability from their politicians. The so-called extremists, the people who care enough now, I don't want you guys to be sacrificed. I want you guys to be preserved. I want you guys to be safe. I want you guys to work hard. I want you to save money. I want you to use that money to buy gold and silver that will preserve and increase your purchasing power. And that's how I want you to gain power in this world. Power in this world is a function of purchasing power. And whoever has the money can pay for what they need. They can pay for security. They can pay for things we can't discuss that they desire. The key is money and making as much as you can while all these stupid assholes in these cities are sitting on their fucking asses about to get hit by a fucking truck and still spending the last fucking remaining dollars on their credit cards. You guys can be making that money and using that money and putting that money to good use, staying safe in your communities, working at a local level to gain freedoms. You know, interacting with your local communities, informing them of your grievances. You know, the people in Washington don't give a fuck, dude. I can guarantee you that, dude. They're going to see you as violent insurrectionists, and they're going to do what they can to eliminate what they see as a threat. You know? Whether it's because they actually see you as a threat, or whether it's because they want to use you to divert attention away from their own failures. I don't think they're going to be good to you. Look what they've done to the Canadian guys, man. They froze their fucking bank accounts. They fucking canceled the insurance on their vehicles. They moved in the fucking military. They did what they had to do. You know? These guys don't get in their line of fire, dude. Stay home where it's safe, man. Stay home, stay safe. That should be the motto of 2022. I think some people used it in 2020, but those people didn't stay safe. Because those people have put their faith in the love of a government that doesn't love them, in the love of politicians who don't love them, in the love of pharmaceutical executives who don't love them, in the lives of scientists who sure as fuck do not love them. Because if they did, they'd listen to them. They'd listen to me. They'd understand what I have to say, and they'd acknowledge the reality that I'm expressing, regardless of how uncomfortable or how humiliating that might be for them. I wrote something on my Gab earlier, which is one of the only sites I'm allowed on still, and I said, it's good to be right with God. It is good to be right with myself. Let's put it that way. I'm right with myself because I've expressed my shortcomings to God, to those who I feel that I have transgressed against. For the most part. And I'm here. I'm here to be of service to God. You know? To me, God is real joy. God is the one who fucking decides. You know, I was thinking about this earlier. People don't listen to me. Why don't they listen to me? Because they don't think I can give them what they want. And they're right, I can't. Only God can give them what they want. That's the truth. But God rewards good behavior. That's my belief. I believe that in the long run, good decisions are rewarded. And listening to me is a good decision. It's it's kind, it's compassionate, it's useful, it's courageous, it is a lot of good things. And I believe that people who do so will be rewarded. That's what I think. So, people are going to do what they're going to do, man. My experience has been that people have not listened to me and taken me seriously. I have grave concerns, but I don't see how I have the power to stop what I see as coming to be. You know, it's funny, I was watching a video of the convoy yesterday, and it looked to me like they were being fired at from the sky. But they were talking normally, so I'm like, wow, it's just some optical illusion with the video or something. But that was actually what inspired me to think about this. Maybe that was a sign from God to think about this and to talk about this. Just like I've talked about other things and given people warning. Like Israel. Biden. You want some advice, Biden? You want some advice with this whole Russia deal, bruh? Here's the advice, man. Putin's taken Ukraine. And I would suggest that you stop pissing him off. Because he's a powerful man. Because he is willing to risk everything for the sake of saying fuck you. I like that. I like that in a man. I got the same fucking energy, bro. I don't give a fuck about this fucking world, man. This doesn't mean anything to me, man. You know why? Because I've seen the other fucking side, man. I know that the joys we think we might experience here in this world pale in comparison to real fucking joy. There's way better shit out there, guys. And that's the shit I'm going for. That's why I'm right with myself. Because God invented this whole fucking deal. Maybe God's an individual, maybe it's a collective consciousness. I don't know who God is, but I am convinced that God wants us to be fucking kind. Because who wouldn't want to live in a world full of people who are fucking kind, who are awesome fucking people? So that's what I'm devoting myself to, is God's will. is doing the right thing, as has been revealed to me since I turned my will and my life over to God. Okay. I think I'm wrapping up now. Yeah, man. So I'm playing for the real prize, you know. I'm not playing for these temporary pleasures offered by people in exchange for giving them something they want or making them think they're going to get something they want. I'm into the real fucking deal, man. And this is an intellectual war. And it's okay if you don't have all the tools you need to fight that war. Because I got this. Because I've given you a fucking book that outlines a plan that's good enough to get us fucking started, even if they fucking kill me tonight. You know? And I got this. And God's got this. So, my friends, I appreciate you showing up, showing the world that people do care about fucking freedom. But I'd really fucking appreciate it if you showed them that the freedom movement is a nonviolent movement, is an intellectual movement, is a movement that will sit right here at home in silence because it's been silenced by them. We will sit here and we will watch them suffer until they've suffered enough that they are willing to do something about it. And whether that willingness is a willingness to listen to us or a willingness to dispose of those who hold them enslaved, it won't be our fucking problem, man. We'll be positioning ourselves as strongly as we can until we get fucking freedom. And we will get fucking freedom, man. We will have an opportunity to rebuild this earth from the ground up. And we will build heaven on earth. It's just a matter of time until they have suffered enough to become willing. Or they just die off as a result of their own ignorance. You know? Their own unwillingness to be kind instead of to conform with what they have been told is correct. It's up to them, dude. Max Egan says it's a soul test, and I really believe that to be true. You know, let's just say this doesn't go viral, and let's just say that caravan goes on, and let's just say that I'm right, and they fucking strike and they kill a bunch of these fucking guys. I believe, first of all, that God will reward the just and the courageous and those who stand for love and peace and freedom. And even if their bodies die, I don't believe it'll be the end for these folks. I believe God will have a plan for them, and they will know joy and we will meet them where we're heading. So, my fearless warriors, think about your kids. Think about the people you left at home. Think about the people you care about. Why should you be the one, man, to die unnecessarily? You know? Let them die. Let them die from their own fucking stupidity, man. Don't go and get yourself killed jumping into a fucking wasp's nest. These guys, they're assholes, man. And they're not gonna treat you well. Even though you're a nice bunch of folk, man. Innocence. There's another type of innocence in this world. You know, the freedom people, they're innocent as far as the ways of the world. But the people who are gonna starve, they're ignorant in how to be a fucking man, how to be self-sufficient, how to take care of themselves, you know, how to interact with people, you know, how to treat people. They've never grown up. They're a bunch of children playing with toys that they shouldn't be allowed to have. And they're gonna get hurt playing with those toys. And unfortunately, they also have toys that prevent us from helping them. They're not interested in listening, dude. It's a form of surrender. It's giving it to God. That's really what this is about, dude. Give it to God, dude. You don't know what you're fucking doing. You don't know how this is gonna fucking play out. These people aren't fucking around, dude. They got real bad fucking